What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here with another Dead End Hip Hop solo album review, and today I'm going to talk about the new album from Willie Green entitled Doc Savage. In case you're not familiar, Willie Green is a dope producer from Brooklyn, New York, who you may or may not have heard working with great artists such as Open Mike Eagle, Billy Woods, and I wasn't even aware that he was dropping an album because honestly my ears have simply not been to the streets as they should be. But luckily I follow some great people on Twitter who have mentioned the album a couple times, and thankfully Billy Woods sent me an email telling me about it. But a Willie Green project is enough to get the average rap nerd hype to listen, but when I saw that lineup I was like, yeah, I really need to hear this. You can tell from the intro to this project that this is going to be a trip. And when Primrock comes in rapping on the next track, you absolutely don't want him to stop. Like, this beat sounds like it was made for him, and it just seems like he could go on and on rapping over this beat. Empty-handed painter from your streets, keeping what I gather, drawing patterns on your sheets, counting sheets into the wind, grip my teeth until the end, spit my piece until it blend. And then Milo comes in to close this track in such a Milo way. I think of Jack Gilbert's Tiger eating pink melon in Pinkberry with my older brother who's now a felon. I think of Jack Gilbert's Tiger eating pink melanin in pink. Dude, this first track is fucking great. I'm not familiar with Denmark Vesey, but goddamn, the next track is nasty. And that was not supposed to rhyme. You can listen to as much weird, experimental, or outsider hip-hop as you want to, and then you hear someone doing something with a verse that's truly creative, and it just gets you excited, man. Like, the way he rocks this beat is something to witness. It's another one of those moments where you're amazed at how he raps off beat while staying on beat to a beat that's so esoteric that you really can't even understand how someone could rap over it when you first hear it. But from this project, I actually went and listened to his album Martin Lucid Dream, which is fucking dope. So make sure you guys go check that out. Another standout track, The Feathered Octopus with Elucid and Open Mike Eagle. And if you watch my channel, you know how I feel about both of these MCs. I love them both, but I was really curious to see how they would sound on a track together. Elucid opens the track and again rhymes in a way that's fucking astonishing. Had the same rap name since the 90s. Nowadays, I teach black kids how to sight read. Whoo, damn. Revolution to be Dead dropped on a thumb drive, zip file narrated by a Gil Scott-Heron hologram and gentrified Harlem. Let's hear it for the man. Dude, his verse is fucking crazy. And if you don't know what sight reading is, go look that up. That makes that part of the verse that much doper. And then the way the beat changes for the second part of Open Mike Eagle's verse, like, this is seriously one of my favorite parts of the album. The horn really comes through and stands out on this part, and it turns into an almost beatnik style poetry reading. Like I picture Open Mike Eagle on a stage in a beret with an amazing jazz band backing him up. Like, this part is just so fucking powerful. It gets to a point with this record that it's hard to not talk about each song because there's so many great ones. And each song has at least a line or two that I feel like have to be discussed. Like on the song The Land of Always Night, where Teddy Faley says, "Don't give glass houses to the stoneless, they'll break out with their own fists." This track also features some beautiful vocals from Karina, who I'm just recently familiar with. And it's all done over this really dope beat that goes from this really minimal but clear drum sound with these great sci-fi sounds sampled in the background to an almost industrial sounding beat with these great swells moving in and out. You also have the Sargasso Ogre with this fantastic hook from Brzezowski where he sings, "Row, if you can't row better, bail, and if you can't bail, learn to tread water, tread water, tread water, bread and water." And it also has this great Billy Woods verse on this song. Bill came through, nigga rig time machine, whip seem new but you still smell glue. A great thing about this album is I walked away a fan of a whole lot of new rappers that I'd never heard before, other than Denmark Vesey, who I mentioned earlier. I'd also never heard of Teddy Faley, who I just mentioned. I'd also never heard of Henry Canyons, or Gucci, or Zesto, who's on a dope track with Uncommon NASA called Phantom City. Zesto's verse on this song is really, really dope. Structures remain, leeches consume, memories implant to hard drive tunes that's like shells, and the metaphor is literal. Waves of bloodshed, the remnants are tricking you. He almost reminds me of Redman at times. Like, I feel like I now have to go back and listen to as much music of his as I can find. Of course, NASA's verse on this fits in perfectly. Then emerge from the basement through cellar doors, hella raw, in search of face that's ornate. No matter real or fake or replace, whether or not on the tape, give me the intake. This song is just so great. The thing about this project is it's packed full of dope-ass beats that you can tell were carefully crafted. You know, this wasn't something that was thrown together in a couple of weeks. And while it's full of some of the hottest names in Indian underground hip-hop, it also doesn't come off as an indie rap DJ Khaled project with a bunch of decent beats and phoned-in verses with no cohesion. No, this is not a compilation. This is an album. This thing comes off as a well-crafted, well-planned, well-played-out project. It's hard-hitting but clear drum work, biting synths, a great combination of live instrumentation and samples. There's grit and grime, there's beauty and atmosphere. Like, when I tell you that this thing is a hip-hop lover's dream, I'm not exaggerating. It has everything that you could possibly want. What's also dope is the MC selection that went into this project. Green chose MCs who in any other arena you would think would totally contrast each other. But the way they all flow with each other and into each other, they all manage to beautifully complement each other and the track, and in turn the entire project. Prior to this, I really wasn't familiar with Doc Savage, but from what I understand, he's someone from some old Pulp Fiction magazines, and I went and looked him up, and there was something that I read that was actually interesting. It says here, Doc is also a master of disguise and an excellent imitator of voices. I find this interesting because of how well Green uses the voices on this album to perfectly complete his vision on top of the beats that he created. Overall, I think this album was great, super enjoyable. It's like being at a really dope rap cypher on Saturn. It's just so interesting how he was able to put a project together that brings the rap sensibilities of old together with a feeling of the future. So trust me when I say that you really need to listen to this project today. The link to the project will be in the description section down there. Make sure you click it, make sure you check it out, make sure you support. And yeah, then come back and let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. That's also down there. And that's it. So as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Peace, bitches!